Today we're going to continue looking at different types of test doubles. In this episode, we're going to look at mocks. Hi, I'm Mark Bradley, and welcome to Testing All the Things, a screencast in which we use live coding to demonstrate different types of testing tools and techniques. Today we are going to continue working on our driving license generator, adding functionality that will require us to use a mock test double. A mock is a more sophisticated version of a stub test double, which we looked at back in episode 2. It can still return values like a stub, but it also can be programmed with expectations in terms of how many times a method will be called, what parameters will be given, and the values it should be returning. Mocks can be set up to return different values depending on the parameters that are given. Mocks provide features that ensure our code under test uses a dependency in a very specific way. Let's look at the code. So far during the test double episodes, we have concentrated on getting the error cases to pass. We are now going to look at getting the happy path of this driving license generator implemented. So we're going to uncomment this test finally. Okay. And whilst we've been away, I've added some additional functions to the license applicant interface. So the license applicant interface now also has get date of birth, which returns a datetime object, and get initials, which returns a string. I've also gone through and added those methods to the invalid applicant, license holder applicant, and underage applicant stubs so that the existing tests still pass. I've also added the functions to the valid applicant. In the valid applicant case, it just returns a static date of the 11th of July 1999, and it returns the initials, which are just set up in the constructor of the object. The reason for that will come clear a little bit later on in the video. So let's get on with our test. So we've got our valid applicant now that's passed into the generate number function, and the generate number function should return a license number. And now we need to assert that so we will check that the license number so we have the expected and the actual, which is the license number. Okay, so we need to set up what the expected should look like. Now the format this license generator should produce will be the initials of the applicant, so in this case MDB, followed by the date of birth of the applicant in 2 digits for day, 2 digits for month, and then 4 digits for the year. So it should be 11/07/1999. And then the driving license number should have at least 4 random digits to ensure that the driving license number is at least 15 characters long. So we also don't want random digits, we want control over those 4 random digits. So for this example, we want those random digits to be 0, 1, 2, and 3. So this is where the mock comes in. This is where we need control over something to randomly create digits here to add to the end of our driving license number. So we first of all need some interface that we can pass in a dependency to our driving license generator. So let's do that first of all. So we'll create a new PHP class. Let's call it random numbers generator, and we'll put it in the same namespace as everything else. There we go, and it's an interface, and away we go. Excellent. So have our interface created. So now, simple thing, we can create a function on it. So public function, and we'll call it generate, and it's going to take an integer because we need to know the number of digits we need to be created. So we'll take an int, which is number of digits, and it returns a string. It's going to return a string rather than an integer because we want the integers to the numbers in the string to potentially start with 0. So the first, so if we had in our example case 0, 1, 2, 3, and we made that an integer, that would just be 1, 2, 3. So that wouldn't work for what we need. So we're going to return a string. So we now have our interface. So we now need a mock version of this. So we need to create a mock. So under our test folder, so it doesn't get used in production code, we will create a mock random numbers generator. Oh, needs a narrator. Okay, I just noticed that typo, so we'll go and quickly fix that first. So I want it to be Shift F6 random numbers generator, and quickly change that. That's better. So that's mock, and that now implements our interface. So random. Okay. Oh. Have I done? No, it seems to be working. Why is it? Okay, so that's fine. So do two things. We will import that class. That's a bit better, and we will add stub methods. Excellent. There we go. Okay, let's get rid of this so we can see it all. So there we are. And if we go back to our driving license generate test, so we need it to return 0, 1, 2, 3. Let's put a semicolon there before we forget it. So we can quite simply make this happen by making our mock random number generator a stub. So we can just return a hard-coded value. So return a string, which is 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, save. And hopefully this will make our test pass. I haven't run it yet. So if we now, $this random, just quit random equals new mock random number generator, and we can pass that in here. So $this random. There we go. Excellent. Let's nearly left the break there to make that a bit more readable. And one there. There we go. It's a bit nicer. Excellent. So now we can run our test and see where we're at. So if we run them all. Okay. Class mock random number generator not found. Oh, okay. Where's this? Let's do a line 20. Oh, should be that. Maybe I made a mistake. No. Where's it gone? Mock random number generator. Why does it not like it? Why is it not finding it? Oh, I think I might have not set the namespace. Hang on, let's just take this. Copy, mock random. Yeah, here we go. That was my mistake. No. There you go. No namespace. Save. That should fix it. That's better. There we go. Excellent. So we've got too few. Okay. So although we updated the valid applicant, we didn't then update the test. So let's close this so we can see what we're doing. So it's MDB. MDB. There we go. Save. So if we run that test now, what's this? To driving license generator construct. Too few arguments. What is this? Oh, here we go. So, we'll just, as this is a new test rather than using this one. It's old, we'll use the field. So this generator, there we go. Save. Bit nicer, there we go. Should have got that test a bit cleaner. There we are. Okay, so we now got, there we go. So now we've got the failure that we were expecting. So we're expecting MDB 11071999 and then 0123, but we're unfortunately getting null. So we can go in and make this test pass quite easily. So we can do return, it's $applicant get initials, and then we need the date of birth. So applicant get date of birth, and we need to format that into a string. So I think the format for the right format string is DM uppercase Y, and then semicolon for now. I think yes, I forgot to come here and add. So random. Let's drop this down so it's readable straight away. There we go. Cool, that looks nice. Random. There we go. Random numbers generator. And let's fix problem. So initialize the field. There we go. Excellent. Go. And now we can go and use it down here. So $this generator generate, and the number of digits we want is 4. So save. Let's see if we can get this test to pass. Perfect. There we go. Our test is passing. Nice and simple. So I said this episode was about mocks, though, not stubs. So let's continue because we're obviously not finished yet. So as I said at the start of the video, we driving license numbers, should be the initials of the applicant, MDB, the date of birth of the applicant, formatted to let numbers for month, 2 numbers for day, 2 numbers for month, and 4 numbers for the year, and then at least 4 random digits to make the length of the string 15. So, however, we now need to cater for cases where the driving license applicant's initials are not this perfect 3. So we might need more numbers than 4 random digits at the end. So we need to add a new test. So here we go. Public test dry license numbers are at least 15 characters. There we go. Excellent. So we can take our applicant from the top, bring that down, we can have applicant, and if we do 3 applicants, so we'll call it 1 and applicant 2 and applicant 4, and that's the number of initials we'll give them. So we'll take this one down to M and this one down to M. Make it easier for myself, MD and then F. There we go. Excellent. So we now have 3 different applicants to run our test through, and we can now create licenses for each of those. So if we take, rather than creating the license numbers each time, actually let's make it a bit easier on ourselves. Copy and do it straight in the assert. So this assert equals, and it's a string we expect, and the call, so it's applicant 1 in this case, and then let's close off that. Okay, so applicant 1, and then we'll duplicate this down. So applicant with 2 initials and applicant with 4 initials. There we go. So we'll take this example to make it easier. Copy and paste it in. And paste it in. Yes. Okay, so applicant 1 has 1 initial, so we will take those off. So it also now needs 2 additional digits at the end of its on its random numbers, so we'll add 4 and 5. And then applicant 2 has 2 initials, so that needs 1 additional digit at the end in the random numbers, so we'll add 4 there. And then applicant 4 has 4 initials, so we'll add the F here. But we still want to have at least 4 random digits added onto the end. It's just a longer driving license number. That's how this is going to work. So tidy it up and we can run our test. So if we run, okay, so our first one is failing. So we've got M0, yep, so the first bit's all right, but then we've not got this 4 and 5 when we call, so we need to solve that. Now we can do that by making this actually into a mock. So we can let's add a function here. So public function mock generate, and it takes an array, which is we'll call call and respond. There we go. Okay. There we go. And private responses, and then we'll just set the responses to equal the given array. Respond, and then what we can do is we can return this response for the given number of digits. There we go. Save. That was nice and simple. So now if we go back to our generator, so if we run this now, we'll also have broken the first test we wrote. Generate must return a string, so we need to set up our mock here, so we can do that quite easily. So we can do $this random mock generate. Oh, no, wrong class. So mock generate, and it needs an array. So we expect it to be called with 4, and we expect it to return a string 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so there's our mock set up for this one. So plate. Perfect, so that's fixed the original test, and now we need to go and make that happen in the second test. So we'll take our setup down, stick it in here, and this is going to be a bit longer, so it's still going to be called with 4 for that last case, so we need to keep 4 in there. It's also though going to be called with 5 and 6, so 5 we need to add the 4 to the end, and when it's called with 6 it needs to be in 4 and 5. Save. There we go. Okay, so now if we run this, the test should start to, still failing though. So at the moment we've got this hard-coded 4 in here, whereas we need to make sure that the driving license number is at least 15 digits. So if we take this and make this the license equals, so that takes the initials and the date of birth, and then we need to work out how many digits we need to add to our license. So number of digits equals, so it has to be 15 minus the string length, of the license. Save. And then we'd have the, we can just actually do it the easy way. Just do return $license, concatenate onto the end of it, instead of this, the number of digits. So copy that and add that in. So instead of okay 4, we now do that. So this should solve this problem in front of us. Oh, it does. Okay, so it's failing now. So the test, so it's failing on the last one. Why is it failing on the last one? Oh, well, so this is a longer string here. So we need to say that number of digits must be at least 4 rather than, because this would probably be asking for 3 rather than 4. So we can do number of digits equals number of digits are less than 4. So if number of digits are less than 4, it will be 4. Otherwise, it's the number of digits. Save. Excellent. So let's run the test. I think we're there. Excellent. Okay. A suite of green tests. There we go. And our license generator is fully working. All the tests that we need are there for now. And there's our implementation, nice and neat. That's brilliant. So in the last 3 episodes, we've covered 3 different types of test double. We started off with the stubs, the license applicants, different types of license applicants that just returned hard-coded values, really very simple test doubles. And then we moved on to using the spy test double to ensure that the log notice function was called in the second episode on test doubles. So we tested this thing and it gave a spy logger rather than a real logger. And in this episode, we've now used a very simple, very basic mock implementation so that we can kind of program, give different responses based on different parameters given to a function. And there we have it. That's all we've had to use to create our driving license application. In the next episode, I am going to replace the mock random number generator with a fake random number generator, which is the final type of test double we will look at. So that's going to be a refactor we'll do to the tests in the next episode. For now, though, on test doubles, that's it for today. Thank you for watching this episode of Testing All the Things. I hope you found it useful. If you enjoyed it, please rate the video and subscribe to the channel. If you did not find the video useful and have constructive feedback, please leave a comment. If you would like to suggest something you would like covered in a future video, please leave a comment as well. I'm Mark Bradley. You can find me on Twitter at @Braddle, or if you're just interested in all things testing, then you can follow me on @TestingAllThe.